Hey everybody. In this video, we are going to learn how to spell secondary dominants. You should either have a piece of staff paper available or a copy of the Spelling Secondary Dominants exercise available to get the most out of this video. Let's jump in. So for each of these chords I want you to spell, the first thing we're going to do is identify the key signature of the tonic key, and then I'm going to walk you through the process of how to spell the secondary dominant based on the symbol given beneath the staff. Let's start with set 1, the first problem. This is the 5/7 of 5 in the key of D major. Let's start with the key signature for D major. The key signature has two sharps, F sharp and C sharp, written as so. Now, what I'd like to do is invite you to think about the guidelines for spelling secondary dominants, which you read about on the guide I posted on Moodle. It's on page 6 of the PDF. The first step in spelling the secondary dominant is to identify the root of the chord that is to be tonicized. In this case, we want the 5 chord in the key of D major as the chord that is to be tonicized. So the question is, what is 5, the root of the 5 chord, in the key of D? That's going to be an A chord. If it helps to write that down to remember it, go for it. Some people also like to just lightly in pencil put the note on the staff that they're tonicizing. This is not going to be part of the chord that we're spelling, but it's like a placeholder just to remember the chord that you are tonicizing. Okay, now for the fun part. Step 2, we're going to forget about D major now for a moment. We really want to think in the world of the chord that we're tonicizing, which in this case is going to be in the key of A. Step 3 leads us to identify the dominant scale degree of the temporarily tonicized key. In this case, we need the dominant scale degree in the key of A. So the question is, what is scale degree 5 in the key of A? Your answer should be E. E is scale degree 5 in the key of A. That is going to be the root of the 5/7 of 5. Why? Because it's the root of the 5/7 of A. At this stage, I no longer need my placeholder note, so I'm going to erase it because we've identified the root of the secondary dominant. We move on to step 4. Now we need to spell a major minor 7th chord with the root of E, which we identified as the root of the 5/7 of 5. Let's get our stack of thirds and then we'll check the quality. There's our 7th chord. However, we need to make a change. This chord will likely be chromatic because it's a secondary dominant. So, how do we spell it? E is the root. We need a major third from the root to the third. However, E to G natural is a minor third. So what do we do to adjust this chord? We make G G sharp, and that gives us the major third we need between the root and the third. Notice E G sharp B is a major triad, so we don't need to alter the B at all. And then the D also will stay natural because we need a minor 7th between the root and the 7th, and E to D does that for us. I like to check my work using a keyboard. My ears will always tell me if I did it correctly. That is a major minor 7th chord. Therefore, we've spelled it correctly. The 5/7 of 5 is E, G sharp, B, D. And then if we were to resolve that, it would resolve to an A chord like this, which would be 5 in the key of D. And then maybe we would do something like 5, 5, 7 to D. However, all you have to do for this exercise is to spell that 5, 7 of 5 or 5, 7 of whatever it is. You don't need to write the chord of resolution. Before moving on to the next one, think about step 5. Most of these chords, though not all of them, will have accidentals because most secondary dominants are chromatic chords. So step 5 allows us to place that chord back in the original key. If you've already written the key signature of the original key, there's really not much more to do. Let's do the next one together. This is the 5, 7 of 3 in the key of F minor. Start with the key signature of the overall tonic key. The key signature for F minor is 4 flats, written as I have shown here. Now let's follow the 5 steps. First, identify the root of the chord that is to be tonicized. What chord are we tonicizing? The 3 chord. What is the root of the 3 chord? A flat. Why? Because A flat is scale degree 3 in the key of F minor. Now let's disregard the tonic key for a moment, and we're thinking in the key of A flat major. We're on to step 3, and we need to identify the dominant scale degree in this key of A flat major. This should give you E flat. Why? E flat is scale degree 5 in the key of A flat major, which is the tonicized chord. Step 4, given this root of E flat, we now need to spell a major minor 7th chord. The major minor 7th chord with E flat as its root is E flat, G, B flat, D flat, and it sounds like this. It would resolve to something like this. E flat 7 to A flat. However, we're only concerned right now about writing the E flat 7 chord. Notice for this particular problem, if we consider step 5, considering the overall tonic key once again, what notes would we have to add accidentals to in spelling in this key? And the answer is, for this particular one, no accidentals are needed. In fact, friends, this is the only secondary dominant that we will study that exists that does not have a chromatic note in it. It's actually a diatonic secondary dominant. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let's do one more together, and then you're on your own to try to complete the rest of these. So for the next problem, we have the 5, 7 of 4 in the key of A minor. First step is to write the key signature of the home key, A minor. Good news, no sharps, no flats. This is one of those happy keys where we have no sharps, no flats. Yay. Okay, so we move on to our steps for spelling the secondary dominant. Let us identify the root of the chord that is to be tonicized. The 4 chord is the one we're tonicizing here. What is the root of that chord? D is the root of the 4 chord in the key of A minor. So now we temporarily disregard the tonic key of A minor, and we're thinking in the world of D minor. So we move on to step 3. What is the dominant scale degree of the tonicized key? D minor. A is scale degree 5, the dominant scale degree in the key of D minor. Let's move on to step 4. Given the root we've identified as A, we now want to spell a major minor seventh chord off of A. A major minor seventh chord with A as the root will give you A, C sharp, E, G, sounding like this. If we are to resolve this chord, we would resolve it like this. A7 going to D minor. So now that we've taken a look at 3 different secondary dominants we spelled together, I want you to try spelling the rest of the secondary dominants on the Spelling Secondary Dominants exercise. Once you've completed your work, you can check the key I've posted on Moodle to see if you got the right answers. If you have access to a keyboard, I strongly encourage you to play each of your answers after you finish writing them, to use your ears to check to see if you got that major minor seventh sound spelled correctly. Have fun.